Well, Harry and Meghan are the gift that keeps on giving as we delve into the psychological aspect of their behaviour. We have Harry's recent trip to Toronto, Canada for Remembrance Day and his essay that he chose to release to the media. But of course, it was the day before his brother's Shop Prize award ceremony. How courteous of him. So we're going to look at what is really going on, exploring behaviour and body language. So as you're still here, welcome to the channel. If you're wanting just truth, not just clickbait and gossip where we get to the meat and gravy of it all, then this is the channel for you. Please don't forget to like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss future uploads. So that being said, go grab your drink of choice. As always, I've got my cuppa. And, well, sit back, relax as we get into some tea with some therapeutic knowledge. So, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're heading to the weekend. So getting to what is going on. We, of course, know that Prince William is over in Rio de Janeiro and the footage has been fantastic. I'm just going to say there are a lot of people thirsting for Prince William after his volleyball incident. And I can't say I blame them. I will say that it's such a strange thing for me because I see it and I really do get what people see. I think Prince William is a phenomenal man. I think that he is just going to be the most amazing king. But I do get a little bit weirded out when I know that he's married, and I have such respect for the Princess of Wales, but I imagine that she probably takes it with a bit of tongue in cheek, and she is the one married to him. She is the one he is coming home to, and well, she is gorgeous. So yeah, I think it's a fitting couple, but I can see, yeah, he is definitely dominating the news right now, and as it should be, because this is such a fantastic thing what he is doing. He's had, he's got some great celebrities there. One of my favorites, Kylie Minogue. I have been a fan of hers since she was in Neighbours. So yeah, it's just really great. But of course, predicted, because I think this is what they do, we have Harry that has decided to pop across to Canada for Remembrance Day. Now, apparently he was invited. I'm dubious on this because I wonder if he somehow orchestrated the invite, because it seems a little bit strange after what has gone on with him not supporting Canada. I know that I've seen in the comments, I know a lot of Canadians are just like, we don't want him. We don't care that he doesn't support us. But I think given that he is still a prince of the UK royal family and his father is obviously head of the Commonwealth and Canada is obviously part of that. So I think that it was very poor taste. And so I do wonder if this is damage control. And so I wonder if he has orchestrated this invite somehow. And because let's face it, it's not a far stretch for him to call them up and say, look, I'd like to head across, but can we make this look like you've invited me? Because, I don't want this to look bad for the optics. We know that that's a possibility that could happen. And I just think it's a little bit strange given what has just happened with the backlash that's come from the game, the baseball game, that suddenly he was just out of nowhere invited for Remembrance Day. We all know that he has got no loyalty. But again, here we go with the media of, well, he did 2 tours in Afghanistan and he was did this. And it's like, I really feel for anyone connected to the military. My father served. So I understand. When I talk to my dad about it, he's just like, he just shakes his head and he's just like, can't stand the guy. When I spoke to him about which I mean, I know anyway, because I've had so many conversations with people. And as I've said, if you saw my video that I did, how long ago was it? Last year, where I actually spoke to somebody connected to Harry's training, that he never ever passed his pilot's. I mean, we all know this anyway, but this, you know, to have it as categorical proof from somebody that was connected to him was a massive thing. So I think that when we look at Harry's loyalty, it's just not there. But it just angers me to no end that the mainstream media are just not journalists. They're just not. You know, like I've said before, it seems when it comes to the royal family that they just are happy to just go along with this story of Harry serving on the front lines, that he put his life in jeopardy. No, he didn't. You know, those photographs that we saw of him holding the weapon and then running to the helicopter, we all know that was staged. You know, he was actually there with the media because they just so happened to get that, if the media are there, we know why. You know, so they just happened to get that shot, and then it's like, oh, Harry on the front lines. No, he wasn't. It was a training exercise. You know, that's literally all it was. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't do some things. I'm sure he did, but he was also very well protected. It was very well known. They're not going to put the Prince of a UK monarch in any jeopardy whatsoever. You know, in my opinion, they shoved him in there. They didn't know what to do with him. He was going off the rails. They needed to do something. So they were like, you know what, let's just shove him in the military. And of course, because he's a man-child, when William got his pilot's wings, of course, it was like, well, we need to not let Harry feel so missed out. So we'll give him, the lesser one, but we'll do it at the same time. And I feel really sad for William because it was like that's overshadowed what he actually achieved. But anyway, so we have this fact that he's decided to somehow get an invite to Canada for Remembrance Day. And it just so happens, what a coinky-dink, to coincide with William going to Rio de Janeiro for his Earthshot Prize award ceremony, which, like I said before, has just been phenomenal. He has just done so much, and it's literally everywhere, and he looks amazing, and it's just done so well. And I love the fact that that William and Catherine can just go and do their own thing, and it's just so celebrated. It's not that they have to go hand in hand, and Catherine's got to claw him all the time, and be part of everything. She lets him shine as he does when she does her things, which is not the same obviously for Harry and Meghan. But I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says. This was done intentionally because, as I said, he has never gone across to Canada to celebrate Remembrance Day. Never. This is the first time. Yes, he's gone to Canada for other things, obviously Invictus being one of them, but he has never gone across to celebrate Remembrance Day. And so you cannot tell me that this is not probably, like I say, one of two things. Either this is to do with damage control because of the backlash that he received for the baseball game, but like I say, also an attempt to overshadow his brother. So of course he wasn't really getting much attention. Nothing really has come out in regards to his visit to Toronto, though, because apparently he was there yesterday. So what does he do? He decides to pen an essay, but he wanted to make sure that he did it and so that it was there the day before. So we just need a quick drink before I get into this because, oh lordy. But I'm going to read between the lines of some of this because I think it's quite interesting. But anyway, so of course it is titled "The Bond, the Banter, the Bravery, What It Means to be British," which is interesting considering he's going to Canada. But I think it's sort of intentional. So, of course, it's like Prince Harry pens emotional essay on why he loves being British. Can we just remember when Harry said, "I don't like the UK"? Because I remember, I'm sure you remember, Can we remember when he accused the British people, the monarchy, of being racist? Because can we remember the freedom flight when he was like, oh my gosh, freedom flight getting away from the UK? I mean, he didn't say that bit, but freedom fright, freedom fright. The freedom fright from the UK, because I remember that, we remember that, but apparently now he loves the British. Oh, I wonder why that could be. Could it be because obviously Andrew has just lost everything and he knows that when his brother becomes king, he is on the chopping block. But suddenly he's all for the military and all for the British. And he shares why he loves his nationality, yet he moved away, decided to go to a Lion King premiere instead of honouring fallen comrades. Yeah. I kind of feel like liar is the word I would use here. So anyway, so we're going to, so every November, the world for a moment grows, honestly, I swear Meghan has written this because to me, he just doesn't have the brain capacity to word things in this word salady way that Meghan knows how to word things. So every November, the world for a moment grows quieter. We pause together to remember, he begins. Remembrance has never been about glorifying war. Do you remember the time when he said that he wanted, he unalived 25, well, I'll say this because I'll be careful what I say on here. In his book, kind of feel that's glorifying war. Or the time when he said that he could have flown over and taken out his father, kind of feel that's glorifying war. And this is what annoys me, because when these reporters write this, why do they not do what I'm doing? Well, hang on a minute, but didn't you write these things in your book? Haven't you said these things about the UK? How do you not work out in your tiny little brains that this is literally damage control? This is literally him knowing that this is, he's done. Ugh. Remembrance has never been about glorifying war. It's about recognising its cost. The lives changed forever and the lessons paid for through unimaginable sacrifice. Something you know nothing about. It's also about honouring those who, knowing that cost, still choose to serve. Yeah. I wonder if you thought about that when you went to your Lion King premiere and was pimping yourself and your wife out to Bob Iger. After writing about his recent trip to Ukraine, he notes, there is a similar stoic spirit of self-deprecation and humour in Ukrainians that I recognise more than other in us Brits, the country that he chose to leave and literally trash. Though currently I may live, and that's interesting. So he says, though currently I may live in the United States. I may live in the United States. So that's an interesting turn of phrase. That again feels to me, I mean, I truly don't believe that he does want to come back to the UK. I do think he wants the connection. I do think he wants to come and go as he pleases. I do think he still wants the connection to the royal family because it's all he knows and it's all he's got. So, and of course, it's the UK monarchy. So, of course, he needs to say this about the UK because he knows the damage that he's caused. Well, him and his wife have caused. So, this whole thing of some people have said, oh, I think it's because he misses the UK and he misses being part of the UK. I don't. I think that this is cleverly worded to create it to seem like he might want to come back, that there's a possibility that he could come back. I think that the only possible reason that could be is again connected to the fact that he still wants that connection to the royal family. I don't think for any second that he wants to move back here. He is too busy loving it over there, bumming around, being a surf boy, and just coasting on the money that he's got. He doesn't work. He doesn't do anything. He is literally a bum over there in sunny California. And he loves it. I'm sorry, but I believe he does. I do not believe he wants to come over here to the UK, but he does want the connection. He wants to not burn all of his bridges, but doesn't seem to realise that he kind of has done that already. So, though currently I may live in the United States, Britain is and always will be the country I proudly served and fought for. Did I blink and miss that bit? Did I blink and miss when he fought for this country? Yes, you donned a uniform. Yes, you did lots of photo ops. But yes, you were also protected. You didn't fight anywhere. And again, this is what annoys me. It's this literally, it's like he uses this consistently. And when you see that they're cult fanatics, they literally always say the same thing. Well, you know, Harry did serve 10 years in, you know, and did 2 tours. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. You know, it's made to look that way, but he didn't do it. There are enough people that were there or associated that will tell you that he didn't. He disappeared. He was there. He was known as Weekender Harry, Bunker Harry. He was there on his Xbox. The only thing he ever possibly fought was on his Xbox. You know, he had a chef. He disappeared when it was the drug testing. He did nothing. And it's an absolute mockery, and it's just absolutely egregious that this man-child still coasts on this lie when there are men, women, animals that put their life on the line every single day and do fight. There are families that have lost loved ones to war. On any which side you want to look at, there is innocent people that have lost family because of war. And this man-child still coasts on this lie that he was there on the front lines. And it's absolutely disgusting that, in my opinion, and I will say this, that the royal family even allow this person, be careful what I say here, to still coast on this lie. In my opinion, he should not be going to any Remembrance Day. He should be stripped of absolutely everything and become Henry Mountbatten Windsor, along with his uncle Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and his wife back to Meghan Markle or Meghan Mountbatten Windsor. That is what is deserving of this man-child. I am so fed up with seeing the mainstream media consistently enable this lie. He did not do what he is proclaiming to do. He has no place going to any Remembrance Day or being any part of it. And I'm sorry if that does upset some people. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. No, I'm not. Take it back. I'm not sorry, because that's the truth. That is the truth. The banter of the mess, the clubhouse, the pub, the stands, ridiculous as it sounds, these are the things that make us British. I make no apology for it. I love it. But yet you left. He then discusses his words with the Invictus Games and Scotty's Little Soldiers. Again, so, you know, because it's what he uses. And his time serving, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say he didn't serve. Remembrance is not simply a minute's silence. It's a call to collective responsibility. What responsibility have you shown? You literally discarded your grandmother and walked away from your... Honestly. Honestly. You walked away from your... How can you literally have this written with a straight face? You wouldn't know responsibility if it turned into a fish and slapped you across the face like a wet kipper. You just wouldn't. Not through sympathy, but through admiration and respect. Yeah, you're right. They do deserve admiration and respect. You, however, you whinging ginger man child, do not. Our duty, something you know nothing about, to those who served, does not end when their service does, he implores. The protection they offered us must be returned through opportunity and respect for the rest of their lives. Yeah, let's look at that respect again, reminding us of the fact that he chose to go to a Lion King premiere instead of honouring those people that he's saying that should be honoured and respected. He walked away from his country. He disowned and trashed his grandmother and her legacy. He has been stripped of a lot of the things that he was supposed to care about because he decided to leave the royal family. And what has he done since? What has he actually done since leaving? Oh, I know. He tried to lay a wreath and got told no, quite rightly so. And then got one of his friends, so-called friends, or I think it was probably a wreath laying service, to do it, but made sure he did it afterwards, but of course got that in the press because the media had to be told about it. And now we have this. That's not charity, it's That's not charity, it's reciprocating. They safeguarded our freedom, we must safeguard their future. That way we all benefit. But it's interesting that he says they. And I think he slightly slips up here because if you had been part of this, you would say we. And that just would be something you would say because if you were on the front lines fighting for your country, as he so puts, you would include yourself in this. You know, you would say it as, you know, that's not charity, it's reciprocating. We safeguarded the freedom, we must safeguard their future. So it's like he doesn't include himself in that collective, which is interesting to me. Well, no, it's not actually, because I do believe that's because he knows he didn't actually do anything. He emphasises that remembrance isn't just one weekend in November, but rather should be a lifelong commitment to empathy, gratitude and action, to be kinder. Oh, kinder? Yeah, Harry just would not know kindness. Again, if it turned into a fish and slapped him across the face like a wet kipper. What kindness did he show towards his grandfather who was dying in hospital? And they knew this when they did the Oprah interview and they allowed it to air. What kindness did they show to his ailing grandmother who was grieving, knowing her husband was dying, who was also poorly, and then the last 2 years of her life was tarnished by the racism? What kindness have they shown to Meghan's father, who is really poorly? Regardless of what you feel about the Markle family, at the end of the day, he is he's an elderly man. He is an elderly man that's had heart attacks and strokes, and she has done nothing but show him disgust and contempt, and Harry alongside. You know, he hasn't basically said, you know what, we need to sort this. This is not okay. What kindness has he shown anyone when he exposed the things that he did about his brother and his brother's wife and the rest of the family? And exposing the poor woman that felt that she needed to come forward because she was being hounded, that he said that he slept with behind the pub. What kindness does he show the people when he says, I took out 25, like I say, and I put that again here. Because regardless of what you might feel, that's still taking a life, and it is not something they ever discuss, ever. So that shows you right there that he knows nothing about that. I have to sometimes wonder, is my anger really towards him or is it towards the mainstream media? Because he is absolutely clueless. We know that he is puppeteered a lot of the time by his wife when it suits him. Because like I've said, I don't believe they live together. So I think they are now just a business arrangement. I do feel that he's potentially sick of her. There's a lot of things coming out now that he is getting fed up. You know, he is very aware that he's being paraded by her, and obviously the things that she's doing on social media, it seems. But this to me is just, oh. So he says, so we bow our heads this weekend. Let us remember not only the fallen, but the living, those who still carry the weight of war in body and mind. Now, again, wouldn't you mention yourself here? And we know he would, because he's very self-serving. But I think because it's not there, it's like a lot of things. When we have something that is very apparent, and it would be, if you have served, no matter how old you are, you never forget that. You never forget your brothers. You never forget your sisters in arms. You never forget the animals that maybe were lost, the dogs that went into war or whatever it was, the horses, etc. Whoever it was, you don't forget things like that. And you can't help but include yourself within that, because you are together. It's like a family. You know, you're trusting your lives with each other. You know, you are the bond. I mean, not that I would know personally, but from what I've heard, the bond is unlike anything. So it's interesting that he says, you know, those who still carry the weight of war in body and mind, and the families who bear its memory in their hearts. So again, it's like he's talking externally. And so I think it shows you that he knows really on a subconscious level that he wasn't there. He wasn't doing any of that. But he's speaking about the ones who did, which is right, in my opinion, because he's got no place there. And here we go. If you live there near them, knock on their door. If you see them around, shake their hand. And if you feel so inclined, join them for a cuppa or a pint to hear their story and remind them their service still matters. What a pompous, sanctimonious twonk. I'm sorry, but why does he not think that doesn't happen anyway? It's like he's the only one that thinks that this is what we need to be telling people. Because, to be fair, most decent people do this anyway. It's like we don't need to be told by this idiot how to treat veterans, how to respect veterans. Of course, there's always going to be people that don't do things. Of course there is, him included. But I mean, do I feel we need to do more here in the UK? Yes. But it's interesting that he doesn't mention that. He doesn't mention the amount of homeless veterans there are, that we need to do more, actually. You know, he could actually have used his platform by staying in the royal family to do more for the veterans. But no, he decided he wanted to go across to California for fame and sunshine. So this is why this angers me, because this isn't some emotional. This is word salad that was probably put together by Meghan, and he's reeled this out again just before his brother does the award ceremony, even though he stated that he purposely did it before so it didn't overshadow. Yeah, okay, Harry. Yeah, you didn't need to put it in the mainstream media anyway. You're not saying anything that none of us that use our intelligent brain don't know anyway. So, you know, this to me just comes across very condescending. because you had a platform and you gave it up. You just gave everything up. It's like, and how, oh, I just can't, I can't. I'm going to blow a gasket. I'm going to blow a gasket. I know I am. I'm going to blow a gasket. I just find it so incredulous that, and this is why, I honestly do believe this is why his titles and everything need to go, because it is just this all the live long time. It's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It really is. It really is. I was going to talk about Meghan, but I'm actually going to do that in another video because this one is already over half an hour long. And I appreciate that people do not have all the time in the world to listen to me. So I'm actually going to do another video talking about her. So you're going to get an extra one this week. So this one is probably going to go up later on. So don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Please don't forget to check all the links below. If you want to treat me to a cup of tea, the link is below, but it's also just above the subscribe button. You'll see a little yellow icon. If you want to go across to my Amazon wish list, you also can do that if you really want to support me or the free therapy program that I'm running. But the main thing is to please watch, share, subscribe, like, because that is, and hype the video if you haven't also already as well, because that does help the algorithm and tells YouTube that I'm a channel worth keeping. So that being said, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and don't forget there is another video coming where I will be discussing Meghan. Also to say that I will be doing another live, which will be probably next weekend. So if you missed the last one and you want to join me for this one, please look out in the community page because I will be putting all of the information on there. And yeah, so I'll see you in the next one. So take care, have a great weekend, whatever you're doing. And I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.